And we are back on our episode of NBA 2K14, and you saw the last episode where the Spurs beat the Thunder by 1 point victory, 112 to 111. You saw Tony Parker got 28 points, Tim Duncan got 27 points, and Manu Ginobili got 15 points as well. On the other hand, Thunder with a high score with Russell Westbrook with 45 points and 9 assists. That was an amazing performance, and Cephalosha got 15 points. So now we're gonna check out the lineup for the Blazers. It's set and ready to go to work, and now we're ready to show. And now our next game on our hand, we're off to Portland, Oregon. We got some good Northwest showdown featuring JaVale McGee and Ty Lawson of the Denver Nuggets take on Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge of the Portland Trail Blazers. And for this game, the Nuggets gonna use the light blue and the Blazers gonna use the white. And that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here at the Rose Garden and Motor Center here in Portland. Anyways, we are sending over to Kevin Harlan here in Portland, Oregon, here in Motor Center. Anyways, once again, we are sending over to Kevin Harlan here in Portland. This is Andre Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here in Portland. And now, let's get started and enjoy the video. Let's go.
Welcome, basketball fans, to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce. A Thursday night broadcast of the NBA. It'll be the Denver Nuggets facing off against the Portland Trail Blazers. And with the tip-off on the way, let's go to Kevin Clark and Steve, who are courtside out at the Rose Garden.
You can taste the excitement here inside the Rose Garden. Glad to have you with us for more NBA action. I'm Kevin Harlan, introducing the rest of the 2K broadcast team. Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and sideline reporter Doris Burke. And now we take a brief check at the matchups. Our starting five for both teams. And guys, what are we going to be looking for in this one from Kenneth Faried?
Well, when he came out of college, the one thing you knew with Kenneth Faried was he was going to give you a lot of hustle. Great rebounder at Morehead State. And he brought that into the league with him. He attacks the ball, he attacks the glass, plays hard on every possession.
That's just the kind of player he is. It's in his nature. He can't help but hustle after missed shots, and he's willing to battle for rebounds and loose balls with anybody. There's no backing down with Faried. Well, they're happy for the return of Damian Lillard, now healthy in the lineup and ready to roll. And Gallinari kicks to McGee. Feeds it to Lawson. The dish to Fournier. That is in there. Lawson with the assist. Fournier's got the game going with his first points of the game for the Nuggets.
You know, for now, the Trailblazers are still the basketball team in the Pacific Northwest. You know, Seattle made a strong push to acquire the Kings, made a record bid, but the owners decided that Sacramento had done its part to keep the Kings, and so Seattle has to wait.
Lillard, and it is flushed down with a nice jam. We can fly, can he? He'll make forget he's a point guard sometimes.
Yeah, when he does decide to attack the basket, Kevin, he can do it with the best of them.
And this is the time to attack with these two teams locked in such a close game.
3-on-3. And here's Matthews for the three. And another three for Portland. Breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for the Trailblazers.
Well, I think the defensive aggressiveness on display here has caught him off guard, playing airtight defense and coming up with the steals.
Yeah, and I've noticed also that their quick hands have led to a lot of forced turnovers. They're getting some points in transition as a result.
And Clark, going back, you know, the Blazers, one of three teams in the Pacific Northwest. You also have the Sonics in Seattle and, Steve, you know, the Vancouver Grizzlies.
And I think those two cities, particularly Seattle, are strong contenders for a new NBA franchise. Of course, Seattle almost ended up with the Sacramento Kings, but when Sacramento was awarded the franchise, a lot of people felt like it was only a matter of time before Seattle would be granted an expansion team.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Well, guys, the head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers, gave me just a couple of minutes. I asked him what players he was really eyeing on the scouting report, and he said one that might surprise you, Kenneth Faried. He said he plays with so much energy and effort. He really sets the bar for the rest of the team. If we can limit his impact on the game, I think it'll really be to our advantage. Guys, an interesting take. We'll see if they can slow his roll.
All right, Doris. The Nuggets shooting their first free throw of the game right now.
Well, you know, JaVale McGee was taken 18th overall out of Nevada back in 2008. You hear about teams reaching in the draft for size. Well, that wasn't the case this time. You look at this kid's physical gifts. I mean, the tallest standing reach in the NBA. He stands alone in that category. Defender there in the neighborhood, but not quite close enough. Good shot.
Lawson dishes to Gallinari. Back to Lawson. Pass to Gallinari. Some nice ball movement by the Nuggets. Here's Fournier. Shakes off the strong D and gets to the bucket for two. Fournier's got 5 points so far. And for JaVale McGee, not just long, but also athletic. To think of him in the dunk contest, dunking 2 balls on 2 baskets at once. It was a very creative way to go at it.
It's incredible to watch McGee out on the floor, dunking, blocking shots, running like a deer. Still very young, 25 years of age, but he can get a lot better, I think, with his game as he develops his skills.
Here's Lawson. Following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. No one near him. And there's another one for the Nuggets. So for the Nuggets, their last game, a win against the Suns.
And if you look at their numbers in that game, what jumps out most is the balance offensively. They really spread the wealth.
And they were on fire in all areas. That was a very satisfying road win.
So timeout called here, the first for Portland. They come into this one following a loss to the Thunder.
They came out flat that night and could never really get it going. Not their best effort for sure, Clark.
No, I agree with you. And I thought maybe they could find somebody to come off the bench and give them a spark, but it didn't happen.
Catching up on the changes for Denver. J.J. Hickson, he's checked in for JaVale McGee. Arthur comes in for Kenneth Faried. And Wilson Chandler subbed in for Gallinari.
Well, Kevin, probably his greatest value lies in his tremendous three-point shooting. When he's out on the perimeter, he gives them the ability to really stretch the defense out.
And another thing I love about him is his willingness to really get in there and mix it up. I mean, to put his body on the line if that's what it's going to take to make a play. These defenders are putting up very little resistance to the three-point shot.
And it's killing. That's 4 of the last 5 baskets they've allowed have been three-pointers.
And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Damian Lillard. That is his first foul of the game. Here's Hickson. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Nuggets will retain possession.
Right here, Kevin, over these last 10 games on the Trailblazers schedule, this is how they stack up compared to the rest of the league. 8th in rebounding, 12th in steals, and the shooting numbers a bit woeful. Just top 20 in the league in field goal percentage.
And the rebounding is really the key stat that I'm looking at right there with all those numbers you talked about, Clark. You know, this is a team that really tries to be physical, and when they're able to secure boards, that does a lot of things for them. It helps their defense, keeping teams from getting second chance opportunities against them, and it fuels their fast break.
That's 4 connections and 5 tries now for him in what's been a great first quarter.
And it's Miller penetrating. Now the pass to Hickson. Out to Miller. Tries a 3. Gets it to go. Miller's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
Both teams on fire right from the opening tip.
Pedal to the throttle, Steve, just like we like.
And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line. Hickson's fires Leonard to the free throw line. That one is on Arthur. Portland shooting their first free throw of the night.
Yeah, this is a very good free throw shooting team, guys. I mean, you look at the numbers, impressive.
And Kevin, it's something they've been working very hard to correct and to change. I mean, they know how important it is to fix that inability at the free throw line.
Now, here's Lillard. He's got 10. With 2 seconds left, connects, the jumper drops. Lillard's got 12 in the game.
It is so hard to just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
Offense, the order of the day as the first quarter comes to a close. Portland out in front, leading by 8. From the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon, we're back in a moment.
Tune in next Tuesday night, January 28th. Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs go up against the Houston Rockets. Live from Houston. Be there.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And looking at what we've seen so far from the Trailblazers guys, what do you think?
And the key is you look at the steal totals for this team. They have really put good pressure on the offense.
Well, you know what? Pressure can lead to pilfer, and pilfers can lead to points. So we've got the 3 P's: pressure, pilfer, points. Get it done.
The forwards are Batum and Thomas Robinson. Crabbe is out there with Mo Williams, and it's Leonard in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. That's the group on the floor for Portland. Well, as far as the defense goes, Clark, that is not what's going to keep them in this league.
Yeah, but from the other perspective, you can see just how much that dunk pumped those players up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, guys. I sense a little bit of a momentum shift here.
And the Trailblazers, another 3.
That's a weapon they've been allowed to use at will today, Steve.
I'll say the defense has been ineffective trying to run shooters off that three-point line.
Miller, that's for 2. And again, it's Denver.
Pretty passing. Timely recognition as to where the open man was.
Williams passes to Leonard. And that one goes in as he is fouled with 3 points if he converts at the line.
Good job there recognizing the mismatch and then just going straight up with the shot. He's got a major height advantage.
Denver with a platoon swap here on the floor.
Myers Leonard out of the University of Illinois is a raw athletic 7-footer. He was taken by Portland with the 11th pick back in 2012. He's a bit of a project, no doubt about that. But he's shown a nice touch on his jumper. He's pretty mobile and agile. I think in time, he'll put it together, and he's going to be a good center in this league.
But the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful.
And Denver decides to take their first time out here. And back to Myers Leonard. Still pretty raw. The kid out of Illinois came out after his second year of college.
Yeah, he had some health and financial issues in his family, so that's one of the reasons he left early. So he probably came, before he was fully developed and ready, but I think he's a player with a lot of talent, and he's in a situation in Portland where he could get some very consistent minutes this year.
And now approaching 2 minutes of action here in the second quarter. Fareed, left side. And the shot counts. He's fouled, and it's a chance for a 3-point play.
And you love the concentration. Gets hit, but stays with the play.
Yeah, he showed a lot right there. Plenty of concentration, finding a way to get that shot to fall.
Crabbe kicks to Williams. Pass to Aldridge. Fareed's there from the post, and it's laid in by Aldridge. Aldridge has got his 3rd bucket of the night.
That was the 3rd straight high percentage look this defense has allowed. I mean, these defenders have got to start bumping bodies in the paint. Be more physical. Be more aggressive.
I agree, Clark, but he doesn't look like they have the will to do that at this moment.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Lawson against Williams. Lawson kicks to McGee. Gets it to go. McGee's got 9. Trailblazers leading by 11. Dishes it to Aldridge. Fareed on him. shoots from the post, and that's 2 points on the layup. And it's 8 points for LaMarcus Aldridge.
He's very savvy in traffic. When he gets inside, has a kind of an uncanny way of shielding himself from contact and finding a way to finish at the rim.
And I don't know of too many other players who are as solid as he is in the low post. Just watch how many times he'll get his man to go for his fake and leave his feet. He gets him up in the air and takes advantage of it.
Now a timeout called by Coach. Last game against the Nuggets, they lost in the Mile High City.
And I think the sort of issues they had on defense, in part at least, was a bigger factor. Really compounded, I think, because it was on the road. You have to be sharper when you go out and play as a visitor.
Yeah, everything has to be tight. You can't be loose in any aspect of the game. You're fighting against the crowd and the opponent. You've got to be tougher, mentally and physically, if you're going to win on the road.
The Nuggets trail by 13. Lawson dishes to Fareed. Lawson the pass to Fournier. Back to Lawson. Just 5 on the clock. Terrific design on the pick foot, and he lays it in.
So the pick worked really well there. Nice job taking it right to the 10 for the layup. Well, Ty Lawson given the keys to this Nuggets offense last year by George Karl. And I think Brian Shaw now has similar confidence in his point guard, allowing him to really run this team in transition, get them out and firing.
It took him a little while to get into the flow of this game, but now he's definitely found his stride and rhythm.
Miller with the block. Gives him the lead pass, and that one's cleared by Aldridge. And going back to Lawson and his quickness, one of the fastest cars in the park and in this game.
Yeah, and I think he's just a lot stronger than people think, and he's a terrific finisher around the rim for a guy who's probably only about 5'10". Well, they try to lift him taller than that. He is a dynamo. Terrific point guard. I love watching him go.
A different look for Denver. J.J. Hickson, he's checked in for JaVale McGee. Arthur comes in for Kenneth Fareed. And Wilson Chandler's subbed in for Gallinari. And out of bounds as the Trailblazers gain possession. Here's Lillard. They lead by the biggest margin of the game, 15 points. There's the feed to Robinson. Puts up the baby hook. Again, the Trailblazers score. 24 seconds left in the first half. And stolen by Lillard. Pass to Robinson. And down it goes. Wonderful assist.
Boy, the kind of moments you love to see. Excellent defense leading to a dunk at the other end.
Clark, you got to marvel at the transition game when they've got it clicking. It's really explosive.
High octane for sure.
Oof. Yeah, turning defensive pressure into offensive opportunities. That's what it's all about.
Here's Lillard. And again, it's Portland converting.
Boy, I tell you what, he's having one of those days where if he takes it, he makes it.
So as we conclude the first half, so far fairly one-sided. Trailblazers lead by 18. And coming up now, it's the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce. We'll return with the start of the third quarter in just a while.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Welcome to halftime. I'm your host, Damon Bruce. Out at the Rose Garden, we got a lopsided game through 2. Portland with the lead against Denver. They've dialed in from long range, an incredible shooting performance from outside. Damian Lillard has been going at it effortlessly against Denver. Seems like everything's falling for him. Not sure if he even knows how to miss. For the Nuggets, though, in this one, plenty of work still to be done. Too many turnovers. Tough to win when you're giving the ball away as easily as they have. They need to start playing smarter basketball in the second half. JaVale McGee has been the X factor. How's that for a shooting percentage? 100. Yes, 100% from the court. Not too bad. And now let's look at the game scheduled for later. It'll be the Heat out at American Airlines Arena against the Lakers. That one gets started at 8 Eastern. And that does it for us here in the studio. Thanks so much for joining me. And now, back out to Kevin and the gang.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there was a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started.
Lillard has been playing really well. 16 points, and the steals are starting to pile up for him also.
They sure have, and clearly he's gotten in their heads because of it, Clark. You guys are looking over their shoulder now, always worrying about where he is.
So on the floor for Denver. Down low, it's Fareed and JaVale McGee. Fournier and Gallinari on the wing, and it's Lawson in at the point. And Fournier kicks to McGee. 6 on the shot clock. Now, here's Lillard, defended by Fournier. And Fareed sends it back. And pushing it up, here's Denver. Gallinari leading the charge.
Certainly that shot well within his range.
I would hope so.
Especially when he caps it off with the steady one-handed jam.
And Gallinari, a 6'10 small forward, highly skilled, excellent size, really good mobility as well. That makes him a really confident, capable player at both ends of the floor and gives him an advantage because of that 6'10 frame.
Back to Lawson. Wide open. And Denver again with the bucket.
One of the reasons they're behind is because we haven't seen enough of that. He needs to become a bigger part of the offense.
And Gallinari, Clark, you mentioned, good size, moves his feet well defensively. I'll be anxious to see how he comes back from his blown knee.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the defense, Kevin. He's frequently called upon to guard some of the best players in the league, guys like LeBron or Kobe. Usually a man his size isn't going to draw a lot of perimeter defensive assignments, but Gallinari can really move.
Earl Watson's checked in for Portland. And Gallinari kicks to Fareed. Right through the D for the layup. Fareed's got 7 points.
Guys, they've had a solid start to the second half offensively. Gotten good looks, and they've made 3 out of 4 of them.
Shoots from 12. And again, is Portland converted.
Coming out strong here in the third quarter. That's 4 for 5 shooting for this team.
Fareed, a screen on Matthews. Lawson kicks to Fareed. Back to Lawson. And it's blocked by Lopez. McGee. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. Now Aldridge. He's got 14. He kicks to Watson. And the Trailblazers, another 3.
You might not think of him as a laser three-point shooter, but that shot was there for him, and he had to take it.
He feeds it to Fournier. Backed in off the glass. Fournier's got 11.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Yep, that's 5 of their last 6 baskets inside the lane. They have really established themselves inside.
A different look for Denver. Mozgov comes in for JaVale McGee. And it's Randolph in for Kenneth Faried. Watson dishes to Aldridge. Kicks to Watson. From the wing. Gets it to go. Watson's got 5 points now this quarter.
I like the way they've played here in the first half. Just an intelligent floor game, getting good shots.
Numbers certainly back that up. They're shooting a much better percentage.
And the basket is good. Got it to go through on the contact, so a free throw coming up. A great opportunity for a three-point play. The Nuggets have gone 2 for 2 in the game at the line. Portland leading by 18. Matthews passes to Batum. He dishes it to Aldridge. And the bucket counts, and his eyes over the free throw line. Trying to make it a three-point play.
He's a big reason why they have the lead right now. He's made all of his field goal attempts thus far and remains hot from the floor.
Randy Foye, he's checked in for Fournier.
And LaMarcus Aldridge, an all-star for the 3rd straight season. You know, looking back, he's really been the jewel of that 2006 draft class where he went 2nd overall.
Watson kicks to Aldridge. They get a hand on it. And Lawson with the drive. And Denver again with the bucket. Now, Clark, you talk about Aldridge and what he's meant to the Trailblazers. Really the franchise player, Steve, in Portland. I think they look at him that way.
And for a team that had to rebuild on the fly after losing so many of their key players to injury, going back to Brandon Roy and Greg Oden, it's nice to see the Blazers bounce back and start to get Aldridge some help with guys like Damian Lillard and Batum and Matthews.
Gallinari against Batum. Here's Randall. And again, it's Denver.
That is some real serious dime dropping there. Exquisite assist.
Here is Watson. Watson defending. Batum attacking. Watson. And here's Matthews from the arc. It's good, and Watson picking up the assist. Matthews has got 6 here in this quarter.
They're relying on their three-point shooting and getting pretty good results right now.
Yeah. In fact, 3 of the last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
Here's Mozgov, and he drops it in from the low post.
You can see that they're not as aggressive from the three-point arc. They had far more attempts in the first half.
Lopez outside. 11 feet away. Again, the Trailblazers good for 2.
I like the way they're working the ball inside because when you do that, you get higher percentage shots and typically good things happen.
Lawson dishes to Mozgov. Lopez with the block. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. It's the Trailblazers. They lead by 18. And right after this, we'll bring you the start of the final quarter right here on 2K Sports.
Tune in next Wednesday night, January 29th. Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder take on LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Big-time hoops coming your way.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up in what has been a one-sided show. And look at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for the Trailblazers.
So far, they've turned in a fantastic performance from the three-point line. It's been a weapon all game.
And that's helped with their passing game, too, because they're getting a lot of assists by sharing the ball and moving it.
Our fourth quarter action underway, presented by Gatorade. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups. On the floor for Portland, they've got Jarrell Wright. Myers Leonard is out there. Thomas Robinson. Then it's Damian Lillard. And it's Crabbe in at the 2.
He has really shot the ball extremely well, as you'd expect. Like we say, he's been making sweet string music all day long.
And it's the Trailblazers on the break. Going straight to the defender for the dunk. Draw. The foul. He'll go to the line. It goes on Kenneth Faried.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
It feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
The Nuggets making a switch here. Gallinari's checked in. Lawson. There's the bucket. Good.
That's kind of his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the defense and finish at the rim.
Trailblazers leading by 19. Leonard attacking. Count it. The defender is called for the block, and this could turn into a three-point play. The free throw drops for Leonard. 60 seconds off the clock here in the fourth. Lawson against Lillard. Lawson the pass to Fournier. Back to Lawson. That is good.
You know, he's knocking down his shots today, but it hasn't really translated to the scoreboard yet.
For Portland, they've gotten all 3 of their shots to drop here in the fourth quarter. They came out of the break on a roll. And Lillard kicks to Robinson. Gets it to go.
It seems like they're finding an open lane to the hoop every time down. That's 5 buckets in a row for them in the paint.
Yeah, on the flip side, Steve, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior.
And the officials whistle a foul on the shot. The bucket's good. He'll go to the line. Denver with a platoon swap here on the floor. Trailblazers have gone a perfect 4 of 4 to start the final quarter. Can't ask for anything more than that. And it's blocked by Matthews. Right side, Williams, and stolen by Miller. And the layup's good off the glass.
You know, as soon as that steal was made, it was over. That was going to be a bucket the whole way.
That's exactly how a turnover costs you.
And Aldridge the basket on the assist by Williams. 18 points for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Man, a gaping hole in the defense that time, and he didn't waste any time getting through it.
Time called here. The Nuggets decide to talk it over.
You know, a big part of the success of LaMarcus Aldridge is his versatility. You can play power forward, you can slide him over and move him to the center spot, but he's very difficult for anybody to handle. Almost 7 feet tall and extremely skilled.
Ty Lawson, who's checked in for Denver. And Lopez with the block. Right side, Batum. The stupendous finish in front. And the Trailblazers lead by 21. Going back to Aldridge for a second, he really does have the skill set of a power forward Clark and the body of a center.
Yeah, you know, that versatility is really impressive. When you think about a big guy guarding him, you can take him outside and utilize that jumper and quickness. And then if he has a smaller guy, he'll back him down and work him over inside.
Now a timeout called by Portland.
And you look at Ty Lawson, he was drafted in 2009, a draft class full of point guards. But he got lost in the shuffle, fell all the way to the 18th pick in the draft. But terrific find for the Nuggets, who found their point guard of the future.
The Trailblazers making the switch here. Lillard's checked in.
You know, it seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through. And that's not something they should get away from.
You know, for those who used to watch Ty Lawson lead North Carolina back to the title in 09, he's doing the same things he did back then here in the pros.
That's exactly right, Kevin. An excellent shooter, a really great passer, unbelievable speed, quickness, and vision. But I think it's the change of pace with that blistering speed that really keeps defenders on their heels. He's a perfect fit for the way Denver likes to play.
Back to Batum. Feeds to Aldridge. Fareed on him. Puts it up from 7. And Portland again with the bucket.
Well, we've seen that more than a few times. An easy bucket in the lane.
Yeah, the interior defense simply has been lifeless.
That's tipped and stolen by Lillard. On up the court. And the jam by Nicholas Batum.
Now that puts the nail in the coffin.
A clinic in terms of how to play with the lead right there.
1:36 left here in the fourth quarter. Lillard against Lawson. He lobs up the alley-oop pass. And the slam dunk by McGee.
A surreal alley-oop that time, partner.
The pass, Clark, the catch, the dunk, all of it perfect.
Precision at its finest.
Yeah, and it all had to be perfect and in precision. That's not nearly as easy as they made it look. He's just been the man since the start of this quarter. I mean, just a tremendous period of basketball for him.
Lawson kicks to Fournier. Again, the Nuggets score.
And he continues to knock down shot after shot. A perfect shooting day for him so far.
Here's Aldridge. And again, it's Portland converted. Denver's gone along perfectly from three-point range tonight. They've gone 5 for 5.
And he gives that rim a good tug on the way. Down.
That's how you drive your point home.
Yeah, but he got a little lucky getting away with it. That could have very easily been called a technical foul.
Lillard dishes to Aldridge. Blanketed by the D. He fights to the rim for the layup.
He is remarkably hot this quarter. He has yet to miss a shot.
Lawson's against Lillard. Lawson the pass to Fournier. And the shot is good.
Boy, he picked him out brilliantly with that feed inside.
So it's Portland now. Lillard outside. Trying to get open as Lopez. Lillard misses.
You just assume he's going to knock those down when he's as open as he was there.
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Stolen away. The dish to Lawson. And it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
You know, size-wise, this is not a great one-on-one matchup for him, but he got that shot to go.
But you wouldn't know it by how he finished. That's a nice hoop there.
A different look for Denver. A free throw off from Lawson. And here's Watson. And so Portland takes this one, but by a big margin. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night. These guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those green light games for a coach.
And that about wraps it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA presented by 2K Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, Damian Lillard.
What a huge dominated by the Rip City here for the Blazers as they dominate, winning by 19-point win, dominate over the Nuggets as Damian Lillard gets full strength, getting dominated, 30 points, 11 assists. Meanwhile, Lamarcus Aldridge got 24 points. On the other hand, Evan Fournier got 22 points, JaVale McGee got 16, and Ty Lawson got 14 and 12 as 14 assists and 12 points. On the meanwhile, Wesley Matthews scores 18 points and 2 assists. So what a huge night for the Blazers as they dominate over the Nuggets by 19 points. That was easy win. So that was easy win for the Blazers. So now our next game on our hand is gonna be our most intense and hotly anticipated for the second time this matchup. For a marquee matchup tonight, goes to in Miami, featuring. Oops, I want to get out of that. Oh, hold on. What did you do with this? There we go. It is gonna be Kobe Bryant of the Los Angeles Lakers take on LeBron James of the Miami Heat. That will be a marquee matchup with the last matchup between those two teams when LeBron James hit the game-winning shot on Christmas Day as the Heat beat the Lakers by 2 points, 114 to 112. And more importantly, the Heat will be playing for the White Hot jersey, the White Hot team for the Miami Heat. That will be good one here in Miami. That should be a good one here in Miami. And that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. The huge dominating win for the Blazers as they take down the Denver Nuggets 110 to 91. This is Andre Kenshin saying song for Rose Garden in Portland. We'll see you later for the second game here in Miami for the Los Angeles Lakers take on the Miami Heat game here in Miami. Sign up and peace out. Goodbye, and reminder, we'll see you later for the second game here in Miami at the American Airlines Arena for the Lakers and Heat game. Sign up and peace out. Goodbye!